What happens when a country music powerhouse steps onto one of daytime TV's most explosive stages and immediately throws the rule book out the window? What you're about to see isn't just an interview gone wrong, it's a showdown. A tense, unpredictable clash that spiraled so fast it ended with one of the most jaw-dropping walk-offs daytime television has ever seen. This is how Jelly Roll's appearance on The View became a moment no one could have prepared for. But before we unravel this wild confrontation, hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments what you think really pushed things over the edge. All right, let's dive in. The studio lights blazed down as Jelly Roll eased into his seat, tattoos visible under his rolled-up sleeves. The crowd erupted. Whoopi Goldberg offered a warm introduction, and the panel smiled. Well, most of them did. Joy Behar, however, carried a completely different energy, one that the audience picked up on instantly. And that's where the tension begins. Joy leaned forward, cards in hand, eyes locked on Jelly Roll. "So, Jelly Roll," she began, "you've built this massive career singing about redemption, second chances. But let me ask you this. Should someone with your criminal history really be the one giving life advice?" Instant silence. Sunny Hostin shifted in her seat. Even the cameras felt like they paused. Hooked yet? Because this is exactly where everything starts to unravel. Jelly Roll nodded, taking his time before responding. "Joy, I appreciate you bringing that up," he said calmly. "My story isn't about telling people how to live. It's about helping someone out there avoid the mistakes I made." Joy waved him off. "But you profited from those mistakes, didn't you? You took your past and turned it into millions. Some people would call that exploitation." Jelly Roll blinked, raising an eyebrow. "I spent years in jail, Joy. I lost time with my family. My music came from pain, not some business plan." But Joy wasn't having it. "Right, but now you're selling out arenas and swimming in more money than most people ever will. When does the redemption story stop being real and start becoming just another celebrity brand?" Whoopi tried to step in. "Joy, I think what he's trying to say—" "No," Joy cut her off sharply. "Let him explain it." You could feel everyone on that stage tighten up, and if you thought it was heated before, it's about to burst. Jelly Roll's jaw tightened. "Explain what? That I turned my life around? That I'm trying to help people who are where I used to be? What exactly do you want from me?" "I want honesty," Joy snapped. "I want you to admit that this whole reformed bad boy thing is an act. You saw a marketing angle and you grabbed it." The tension grew so thick the audience barely breathed. Sarah looked down at her notes. Alyssa Farah Griffin glanced between them like she was watching a lit fuse burn down. Jelly Roll stayed steady, but his voice carried a sharper edge. "My daughter knows I was in prison. My wife stood by me when I had nothing. That's not an angle, Joy. Those are real people, real consequences." Joy rolled her eyes. "Please. Everyone in Hollywood has a sob story. What makes yours special?" "I never said it was special," he replied, leaning in. "I said it was real. And if you can't tell the difference between someone trying to do good and someone selling snake oil, then maybe you've been in this business too long." The audience gasped. Whoopi's eyebrows shot up. Joy's face turned bright red. This is the moment everything tipped. "Excuse me." Joy's voice sharpened. "Did you just imply I don't know what I'm doing?" Jelly Roll didn't back down. "I'm saying you're so focused on catching me in some gotcha moment that you're missing the whole point. I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be honest." "Honest?" Joy scoffed. "Let's talk honesty. You built a career as the poster boy for second chances, while millions of people with records can't even get hired at McDonald's. Where's the redemption story?" That did it. Jelly Roll's voice rose for the first time. "That's exactly why I use my platform to talk about criminal justice reform. Real opportunities, real change. What are you doing besides sitting here tearing me down? The studio froze. Joy's jaw dropped. Sunny tried to speak, but Joy held up a hand. You don't come on this show and tell me what I do or don't do, she said, voice trembling with anger. I've been fighting for social justice since before you were born. Jelly Roll fired back without hesitation. Then why are you attacking someone who's on the same side? Jelly Roll's voice softened, though the firmness in his tone remained. Joy, and what's this really about? He asked. For the first time, something almost unguarded flickered across Joy's expression. Vulnerability trying to break through, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. This is about accountability, Joy said sharply. This is about not letting people coast on a good story when they haven't truly earned the praise they're getting. Jelly Roll leaned in, voice low. And who gets to decide when someone's earned it? Because from where I'm sitting, no matter how hard I work, no matter how many lives I try to touch, there will always be someone like you telling me it's not enough. That was the breaking point. Joy suddenly shoved her chair back, standing so abruptly that the scrape echoed through the studio. Someone like me? She demanded. What is that supposed to mean? The rest of the panel exchanged panicked looks. This wasn't just going off script, this was spiraling into something no one knew how to reel in. Jelly Roll stayed seated, calm and grounded, folding his hands as Joy towered over the table. The cameras didn't cut. Every second of unraveling tension was being captured. Someone like you, he repeated steadily. Someone so focused on tearing people down that you can't recognize when someone is genuinely trying to build something good. Joy's hands trembled. I've spent decades on this show holding people accountable. Decades. I'm not backing off just because some country singer with a guitar and a teary backstory walks in here acting untouchable. Nobody said I'm untouchable, Jelly Roll replied. But there's a big difference between accountability and cruelty. And right now, Joy, you're crossing that line. Finally, Whoopi stepped in with a voice that could usually calm a storm. All right, let's all take a breath. It's getting a little too heated. But Joy wasn't calming down. No, Whoopi, I'm done taking breaths, Joy snapped. I'm tired of pretending every celebrity who walks in with a reformed image deserves applause. You want to know why I'm pressing you so hard? She pointed at Jelly Roll. Because I've seen this story 1,000 times. People screw up, become famous, tell a good story, and suddenly they're heroes. Meanwhile, real people don't get the same forgiveness. And you think I don't know that? Jelly Roll's voice rose again. You think I don't carry that guilt every single day? You think I'm blind to the privileges that helped me rebuild my life? I talk about that openly. My gender, my race, my voice. Yeah, they gave me chances others never get. Joy narrowed her eyes. Do you actually talk about it? Or do you sprinkle it into interviews while you cash the checks and move on to the next arena? This time, it was Alyssa Farah Griffin who jumped in. Joy, come on, that's unfair. He's testified before Congress about prison reform. He's donated millions. He walks the walk. Stay out of it, Alyssa, Joy barked, eyes locked on Jelly Roll. The audience murmured. This wasn't daytime TV conflict. This was something raw, uncomfortable, and deeply personal, unraveling on the live air. Jelly Roll rose from his seat at last, meeting Joy eye to eye. You know what, Joy, he said. I came here ready for a real conversation. I came here respecting you, respecting this table. But from the minute I sat down, all you've tried to do is belittle me, and I'm not going to sit here and take it. Oh, so now you're the victim? Joy laughed harshly. That's rich. You love the spotlight until someone challenges you. I can take criticism, Jelly Roll shot back. What I won't take is having my intentions trashed by someone who doesn't know a thing about me. You're judging my entire life from one segment and a few headlines. I did my research, Joy insisted. Then your research is incomplete, he said, eyes burning with conviction. If you really understood my story, if you understood what I've survived and what I'm fighting for, you wouldn't be standing there treating me like some scam artist. Joy's face flushed deep red. Her breathing was louder now. You want to talk about what you've been through? She snapped. Fine. Let's talk about the people you hurt, the victims of your crimes. Where are their interviews? Where's their redemption arc? Why don't they get a spotlight? The words dropped like a hammer. Even the audience gasped. Jelly Roll's expression shifted, pain cutting through his anger. You think I don't think about them? He said quietly, his voice cracking. You think I don't wake up every day with that weight? I can't undo what I did. I can't give them their time back. All I can do is try to make things better. For them. For others. For the world I hurt. And if that's still not enough for you... He shook his head. Then I don't know what else to tell you. Sarah gently placed a hand on Joy's arm. Joy, maybe we should... Joy yanked her arm away. Don't. I'm making a point. A point? Sonny Hostin cut in sharply, finally stepping into the fray. And that's where the whole situation took a turn no one expected. Sonny's voice cut through the tension. So what's your point, Joy? That redemption isn't real? That people can't change? She shook her head in disbelief. Because if that's your point, then what's the purpose of any of this? What's the purpose of criminal justice reform? Rehab? Second chances? Joy turned towards Sonny, her face tight with emotion. The point, she said, is that we shouldn't be celebrating people just because they've finally stopped doing the wrong thing. That's the bare minimum. Jelly Roll's response came quietly, almost gently. Nobody's asking you to celebrate me, Joy. I'm just asking you to see me as a human being who's trying, that's it. For a split second, the anger on Joy's face softened, but it didn't last. You want me to see you as human? She said, her voice trembling. Then stop hiding behind your music and your story. Stop using your past as a shield against real criticism. I'm not hiding behind anything, Jelly Roll replied, his tone steady and controlled. I'm standing right here answering every one of your questions, taking every shot you've thrown at me. What more do you want? Joy exhaled shakily. I want you to admit you're not special, she said, her voice cracking despite her best effort to hold it together. I want you to admit the reason you're here, the reason anyone talks about your redemption, is because you got lucky, because you had talent, because the system opened a door for you that it slams shut on countless other people. I've already said that, Jelly Roll said, frustration creeping into his voice. I've acknowledged it 100 times. I don't know how many different ways I can say it before you actually hear me. Maybe I don't want to hear you, Joy whispered. The honesty in that sentence stopped the entire room cold. Maybe I'm tired, she continued, her voice trembling, of hearing stories about the few who make it out, while so many never do. Maybe I'm tired of exceptions being treated like proof that the system works. The silence was suffocating. Whoopi's face fell with concern. The other hosts exchanged uneasy glances. So this was never about me, Jelly Roll said softly. This is about something much deeper. Joy's eyes filled, but she clenched her jaw. Don't psychoanalyze me, she warned. I'm not, he said gently. I'm just saying, if my story hurts you this much, if it makes you this angry, maybe it's because of something in your own experience. Something that has nothing to do with me. You don't know me, Joy whispered. You're right, he said. I don't, just like you don't really know me. So maybe we should stop pretending we do. Joy stared at him, her composure slipping as tears streamed down her face. The audience sat frozen, barely even breathing. You want to know what this is really about? Joy finally said, her voice trembling. It's about watching people fail every single day. It's about watching the system chew them up and spit them out. And then someone like you comes along, and everyone acts like it's some miracle. Like, your story proves the system works, but it doesn't. You're the exception, not the rule. And pretending otherwise? That's dangerous. Jelly Roll's expression softened. Joy, I've never claimed to be the rule. I've never said the system works. I've spent years saying the exact opposite. I am the exception. That's why I fight for change. Then why does it feel like we're on opposite sides? Joy asked. And suddenly her voice wasn't angry. It was hurting. Because you're not listening, Jelly Roll said, his tone gentle but firm. You're so focused on what you think I represent that you're missing what I'm actually saying. Joy shook her head, tears falling freely now. I can't do this anymore. Whoopi stood, reaching out. Joy, it's okay. Let's take a break. But Joy pulled away. No, I'm done. She looked around the studio, the cameras, her co-hosts, Jelly Roll, and something inside her seemed to shift. Sarah's eyes widened. Joy, what are you saying? I'm saying I'm done, Joy repeated, her voice steadying even as tears ran down her face. I'm done having conversations that go nowhere. I'm done pretending that talking about suffering on TV actually changes anything. I'm done feeling like we're turning people's pain into entertainment. Sunny rose, reaching out. Joy, please, just take a moment. I've taken enough moments. Joy turned back to Jelly Roll. You want to know why I came at you the way I did? Her voice cracked. Because you make it look easy. You make redemption look simple, like anyone can get it if they just work hard, and that's a lie, a beautiful lie, but still a lie. Jelly Roll nodded slowly. You're right, it's not easy. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. He paused, letting the truth settle. And you're right. Most people don't get the chance I did. I got lucky. I know that. That's exactly why I'm trying, every day, to change things. Why am I even doing this anymore? That was the question Joy kept circling back to as she stared across the table. I'm trying to use whatever platform I have to create opportunities for people who've never had them, she said, her voice trembling with honesty. Jelly Roll nodded, surprised by the sincerity in her tone. I believe you, he said quietly. But believing you and believing in the system, those are two totally different things. Joy sighed deeply. Exactly. And I can't keep pretending that one person's success story fixes anything when millions are still falling through the cracks. Jelly Roll leaned in. Then stop pretending, he said. Fight for them. Use your voice. That's what you've always done. That's why people respect you. She laughed bitterly, almost in disbelief. Respect me? Did you not just call me out in front of the whole country? He shook his head. I called out your approach, not your character. There's a big difference. Is there? Joy asked. Because it sure doesn't feel like it right now. Alyssa jumped in gently. Joy, we all get overwhelmed. This job pushes all of us to the edge sometimes. But walking off, especially in the middle of a show, that's not you. Joy stared at the table. Maybe it should be. Maybe stepping away is exactly what I need. The tension in the room shifted instantly. Whoopi leaned forward, her voice steady and grounding. Joy, you're hurt. All of us are. Things got intense, yes, but let's not make a choice we can't undo. For a moment, Joy met her eyes. A silent history passed between them. Years of friendship, arguments, victories, and emotional battles fought side by side. I'm not making an impulsive decision, Joy said softly. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Today just made it crystal clear. The audience was frozen in absolute silence. A few covered their mouths, stunned by the rawness of the moment. Jelly Roll finally spoke, his voice gentle. If I played any part in pushing you toward this, I'm sorry. Truly, that wasn't my intention. For the first time since he walked on stage, Joy actually looked at him. Not as an opposing viewpoint, not as a symbol of everything wrong with the world, but simply as a human being. "It's not your fault," she said. "You actually helped me see something. I've been doing this for so long that I forgot why I started. I forgot that the goal isn't tearing things down. It's building something better." Sunny leaned toward her urgently. "Then stay. Stay and keep building with us. Keep fighting." But Joy shook her head, exhaustion etched into her face. "I think I've been fighting for so long that I don't know how to be anything else. And that's not healthy. For me, for you, or for the people watching this train wreck." Sarah's voice cracked. "Joy, your family, we need you here." Joy smiled sadly. "You'll be fine without me. You're all incredibly smart. You don't need me to make this show work." Even Jelly Roll cleared his throat, speaking up. "For what it's worth, I think the show would be worse without you. You pushed me today more than most interviewers ever have. That matters, even if it was uncomfortable." Joy looked at him with disbelief. "Are you seriously trying to talk me into staying?" He shrugged lightly. "Just being honest. You hold people accountable. You make us think. Someone has to ask the tough questions, and that's always been you." She exhaled slowly. "And that's exhausting." "Of course it is," he said calmly. "But it's also necessary." Whoopi seized the moment. "He's right. You're tired, Joy. You're frustrated. We all are. But don't let one messy interview erase decades of incredible work." Joy closed her eyes and took a long, shaky breath. When she opened them, she looked straight into the camera, her voice cracking. "I appreciate every one of you watching. I appreciate that you care about these conversations, but I have to be honest, with you and with myself. I don't know if I can keep doing this the way it should be done." She turned back to her co-hosts. "I need time. Time to think. Time to figure out what I actually want to contribute." Whoopi didn't hesitate. "Take the time, as much as you need. Your seat will be waiting." Joy nodded, tears streaming. She turned back to Jelly Roll. "I'm sorry for how I spoke to you. That wasn't fair." He shook his head. "I'm sorry too. We both could have handled this better." For the first time all day, Joy smiled genuinely. "Yeah, we definitely could have." She unclipped her microphone, placed it gently on the table, and without another word, walked off the set. The cameras followed her until she disappeared through the studio doors. Nobody on the panel spoke. Nobody could. Finally, Whoopi faced the camera, her voice thick. "We're going to take a break," she said. "We'll be right back." But as the screen cut to commercial and chaos erupted across the studio, everyone knew the truth. Nothing about this day would ever be forgotten. A line had been crossed, a moment had been captured, and one of daytime television's most iconic voices had just stepped away. Perhaps for good. Jelly Roll remained in his chair, his head bowed, trying to understand the magnitude of what had just happened. He had come to share his music, his journey, maybe inspire a few people. He never expected to be part of a moment that would make television history. So now it's your turn. What do you think? Was Joy justified in walking away? Did Jelly Roll push too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, and stay tuned, because the fallout from this moment is only just beginning. And tell us, if you were in Joy's position, what would you have done?